Welcome back, everyone. This is Django Python tutorial number 7. Uh, in the last video tutorial, we talked about how do we create a model, and which has, in our case, we have two objects. One is category, the other is course. Uh, we were able to run the Django administration management command to produce the script to generate the physical table in the SQLite database. And we also shows how to register these two objects in the to leverage Django's admin application. We through the registration, we were able to get the basically the our own object show up on their administration panel. So we even tried to add a new records to the as new record as well. So so now we have some one object in the category. We also have one object in the Cisco security, right? Now, obviously, this is not good enough. I mean, we wanted to do very similar thing to be able to show the database content we created in our own application, which in this case uh, is rango, right? So we're gonna in this segment we're gonna do first is to how do we take the record out of the database and to show on the page just for read only. Okay, so there are, remember now there are two objects or two tables with the record. One is category and the other is course. Obviously, I actually in my in last segment I show you the category contains n number of courses, right? So that's the relationship between these two. Okay, so we're gonna start this, and now to make the data in the database show up on in our own application, we needed to do is to really the steps we need to do is the following. So assuming obviously we already have the model creator, right? So first we needed to update the index function in the applications, meaning Rango's views.py module, right? In that function, when we update it, what we need to do is really add the call to retrieve the records from database, and then pass the retrieve the records to a designated template. So the data we will pass in is actually in a Python dictionary. Okay. Next, we're gonna basically update the templates with the template named indexes, because that's what we're read the designated template in the code here is actually we have is goes to the index.html, right? So this is what we designated to, and this is the part we needed to make the change to. Okay, we will keep the dictionary, but the content will change. Okay, so that's what we need to do. So that's what the at least the the hint, because we did the last section of how we get the data passed to the templates we already know, so that will be the hint for us to how do we deal with the database, right? And so that's what we're going to do. Okay, now again, because of time constraints, I'm going to just copy paste from the existing I already made, so at least it's a bit quicker this way. So in the view, we talked about the in the view, right? So we gonna do is to take the data out of the database. So the way the code you do this is actually surprisingly simple. Remember, we have a model. In the model, we have an object called category, right? So what we just do is we need to input this. So we will basically input the category, the category object order. We want to do an order by the field called views. The views we're in the exercise we don't use that, but the intent is to be able to count how many times the record is being viewed by the front page. So it's the counter. So what we say is order by the the highest view number view at first, right? So minus view is that's what the is. Okay, and we want to first 5 records. We only want to show 5 records, first 5 records of category. Okay, so that's the that's all we really need to do if you really look at this, right? So we will have, remember we said we will get this into a list, and then we'll assign that to a data dictionary. Okay, a dictionary. We already did this, so that's what we're going to do. So what we say that is the changes is actually in here. Now we're no longer rendered the response directly. What we do is we actually just to return the render, let the process takes over, which is takes the dictionary and render on the page. Okay, so to do that, we'll use the function called render. Okay, so let me get this. All right, so I'm gonna just because of the copy paste, so it has a course here. Let me just okay. So that's what really the change we need to do. Basically, we're taking the object, which is a collection of records category. We want to order by views in a descending order. We want to show the first 5 records, right? And then we take this. Remember, we said assign this to a dictionary, a Python dictionary, and then we will return the Python dictionary along with the designated page, which templates, which is index.html, okay? And we pass that to that. So it's chaining to the next request, pass the request and doing the rendering. And so now we did this piece. What we need also in the steps we talk about is to update the template, right? So the template is index.html. Now I already did this. So what the original code was actually, it was just like this. When we did this, we had it be like this, right? So originally we have is something like this to render the render the bold-faced. Let me just, because I do want to show this. So let me get the old code back, because that way at least I can show you. So the original code is actually look like this. Okay, so the original code actually looks like this, right? This is what the original code look like. Okay, this is so we pass the we take the boilerplate is actually in the index view index function. It returns a dictionary holds a key. The key is bold-faced. That shows the value, right? So now in our case, compare with this, right? Because we are actually getting a, let me bring back the, right? Because remember the in the, right? So we are replacing this with the iteration. The reason for that is this, okay? Look the view. This actually returns a collection, right? A collection of categories. So it's a dictionary with a key with a collection of records. So in the template, you will, what the first step. This is Django template language. Okay, so it's a kind of like a Python in a way. So it says if category means if return does have a category, right? If the return does have a category key, because if I don't put this in here, I put a, let's say my key, and then this won't work because it looks for a key called categories. So if the category key is there, then we will do is to take the category here, right? Right, it has the value. So what we do is to take the category, says, okay, give me one category at a time going through a for loop. And once I have the category, I pick the slug field, and I'm trying to build a href, okay, and then uh, I also display the name on the href. This is the underneath of the link. This is the name, right? Now, why am I doing this? Well, if I don't do this, a good example is if I just do this, right? I could have done this. Now, let's see what will happen, okay? So that way at least we all know what did it. So now I made a modification to to the the templates, right? So these are the two steps we wanted to do, and assume everything goes well. Supposedly this will run. It will show up all the records in that database. Okay, so we will run this. We'll run this, right? Now we'll go to the right. So there you go. You see this network security. That's one record. Remember we added this from here, right? Category, right? Network security. Now the thing is, there's nothing, I cannot go to the, supposedly I wanted to be able to draw down, right, to go further. So it would be like even though it's not exactly, but they're similar. So it'll be like this. You have a category, right, and then you click on this, it will draw down to this, because the add tag category page, it actually shows you all one shot. It would be like similar to this. You clickable, and then you will show a list of all the courses, but it's not clickable, right? So that's an issue where we needed to solve. Now the other thing is, there's only one record. I'd be able to add the record to show this by coming over here and then do this and click on the add new, right? But that means I have to type over again. That's too much of work. So what I did is, actually, if you look at your project file, I actually have a script called populate rango.py. Okay, so I basically, this is the key of the script where I created the object, page object that added to the category, right? Okay, and from here you can see I'm adding three categories here. One is Django category, the other is other framework category, and where's the other ones? Django and Django Python, right? Python, Django, and the other framework. Okay, so I'm adding three categories. Each of them will have 2 or 3 pages along with it. Okay, so now one thing I wanted the folks to be, it will happen if you doing the Django development long enough. Sooner or later, you will have to write the script populating the data, because it's not possible for a human enter all this. The key to this is actually just remember the script. That's why I included here. This is the anchor code, line 6 to 13. The rest of them you can just you should just copy what I have. Just basically change to whatever your environment is, the models, the objects. Okay, but make sure you always use including 6 all the way to 13. This is the anchor code, and then the rest of them you can make the change to. Okay, so I'm gonna run the script. Okay, so it's a Python script. So I'll do is populate rango.py. Okay, so I'll run this. So it tells me, it added the categories, right? 3 categories, and then along with the one I already have. So there are 4 categories. Okay, so now if I come back, right, if I do a rango, I should see there are 4 categories, right? But we still cannot be able to click drill down. So here is what we need to do. To do this is actually simple. All we need is construct a link make the link as make the href, right? It's the hyperlink. So when you click this, it knows to load the the pages belong to network security, which basically enumerates through the course records within the network security catalog, right? Category, I'm sorry. So here is what I left it out. I took that out, right? So if you look at this in the code, what we need to do is to build a href, okay, right? So what this says is your href will take is starting from rango. Now I don't need to do the category, okay? I don't need to put it here, but I put it here because it's belong to category, right? So it's hierarchical, organization. But it's a rango, and then you click this, it means you go to well, you want to see the category page. So that's why I put a category here, okay? And then this is the category slugger. If you remember in my code what I did, the slugger is actually just take the name of the category and mingle them to be a valid URL. That way I can construct the URL to locate that record, that category record. Okay, so this is the name we already have here, right? This field, this is the category. Remember, category is a dictionary. The name actually is network security, right? So what we need to do basically is to add this piece to it. So this piece, right? So what we do is put the href here. So this is what we do. So we put the right. So we do a href of the. Just a second. That's missing a. Yeah. Right. So we will do a add a href to this list, right? Because it's going to go through each of them to take the slugger field, construct the URL. Okay. When we run this, what happens if I run this? This will show up here with a clickable link. Okay. Remember we said that no reload switch on the run server. That's only pertains to Python. For the change to the HTML, you don't need it. So we only need to just reload. There you go. You see, these are the each links. If I hop over, let me show you. Oh, sorry. So if I hop over this, you see this, right? This, it gets showed up in here. See this here, right? So we have when I hide, you see this? When I hover over the point, it actually shows the URL here. Okay, so again, if the mouse, if you hop over the mouse here, and you will be able to see what's underneath of it here. Okay, all right. So this is what the each of the link would look like, right? So it will have category slash, it will have rango slash category other framework. So each of them, okay. So now, but when you click on it, it goes nowhere because we have not told the URL switch in rango, you know, where you're supposed to, what function you want to call when the link is clicked. See, this is the link, right? When the link is clicked, where that's supposed to call. So that involved the next step, which is what we wanted to do is to put add a category page to the site. Involves modify the, right? We'll add the slug attribute to the in the category object to the to construct href, right? So we did that. So the link is there now. But the error message also told us it does not know what to do with this particular this type of URL, right? So with the category slash the name of the slugger field, but it does not know what to do. So what the message really says, if you look at this, is it just tells you, or in a way, it says Using the conf defined in Django project URL Django try these URL pattern, it couldn't find it. Okay, so basically what we need to do is actually to add a new URL switch in the rango application urls.py file. Okay, this is how would you add it to it. Okay, I'm just gonna copy paste this to the project and I'll explain this. Okay, so we're gonna add the in here to tell where to rerun this. Okay, this piece. So right, so it this says is here. Look at the notes. We can read this. Okay, please note this piece, which is sandwiched between the dollar sign and the category, right? We see the category, so that's the matches the word category. Is sandwiched between two slashes. Is actually this is a Python regular expression. What it says is it will only accept a string that contains A to Z, uppercase, lowercase, and 09, and a dash. Okay, a dash character. So once it's passed the validation, this also will being assigned. This highlighted the string will be assigned to a variable called category name slug. Okay, and we'll make that as a parameter. Okay, now once this is, it also will, it tells you say, okay, if it matches this, please call views.category function. Okay, we will talk about what name is this later, but basically it says if this matches, call this function. Okay, and when this function is called, please pass this value to that function as well. Okay, so now what we need to do is go back to our views.py to add a function because there is no such function. We're going to add that to it. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So if we go back to the views and we will add that to it. Okay, we'll add a function, right? So dev, right? So right now, remember we said that this basically with this in place means I'm passing this into this function. Okay, so we will this as the second parameter. The request is always by default what gets in. Okay, it will always pass that. So what we need to do is basically, if you define this as a question p, it's a parameter. So if there are, let's say if there are two of these, you know, if two of these like this, right? So if you have two of these, then there will be two parameters. Okay, so but anyway, let's stay to this. So we'll have one pass into the request. Okay, to save time, again, I'm going to copy the stuff over because it's a bit easier. So let me do this. Okay, so the category function, it seemed to be a lot, but there's actually most of them are actually just the comments. So all right, so okay, so what this is says, let me get this. Okay, so because I'm gonna reference the course now. Remember the category page has a list of the courses, right? So that's why I need to get a course too. So basically it says this is the URL, part of the URL slugger. It says, okay, give me a category object where the slugger equal to the category name slug, which I was passed in. Okay, and this come from this part. Sorry, it come from this part. You see this piece, right? Okay, so it matches, right? It's A to Z, uppercase, lowercase, crossbar, or numeral 0 to 9. It matches, so this value gets assigned to category name slug and passed to views.category function. Okay, so that's where it comes from. So I'm only getting the this call allows me only get the category which the slug value is what's passed in. Okay, so now I have a category object collection or record object come back, and then I'm gonna in the return dictionary to the template, I'm gonna store the category name to the category name value key value pair, right? So this is the key and this is the value, and then I will also do is since I have a category, right? This is really the says, hey, look for the course. You have a foreign key, right, which reference to the category. So I'm gonna give you a category object, and you just find the the course matching course where the category is equal, right? So this will return basically a collection of courses, right? And then you know that's what we'll get. So a collection of courses. So from this, right? Actually, I really think that this be better this way, right? So course, right? So from here, we will do is we assign this collection of courses just like we did on the category. We assign a collection of courses into the with a key, right? That's the key is called courses. So it's actually a collection here. And at the same time, I'm also passing the entire category to the dictionary, to the templates via the dictionary with a key called category. So they're all matching. There's three actually. This dictionary I'm passing back has three keys. One is category name, course, and a category. Okay, and these two are actually a collection, whereas this is actually just a string. Okay, now I am set it up, and the designated page, the template I want the call to go is category.html. Now we don't have that, right? Look at this, we don't have that, so we need to create one. Okay, so what we do is create a one. Remember now this is HTML, okay? It's not a. So now we have a HTML template. There's nothing in it, so we needed to put something in it. Basically, we're gonna take the same approach like here, right? We know there are two collections. All we need to do is we'll enumerate through it and to get the right value out of this, so we can construct a page. So let me go to this to templates. This is so right. So this is what we should have in the templates. Okay, so I'll go through line by line with the folks, so at least you know. And then we just tied it to rango. So right, so we say just like we did on the on the index.html, we say if the category is there, remember I passed the category, right? The category here, I passed that, right? So pass to the templates. So if the template category is there, then I will take the category name, which I also already set here, right? Name, okay? It's already pre-populated already. I'll take the category name and to display as a header, right? And then I will go through. Now this is where, right? Remember, I'm not using the key. Is actually a course, not pages. So I will make it a change here, right? So I will say for C, I'll just say C, okay? So for each course, right, I'm gonna return, if you look at this, let me get this, okay? So if you look at this, I am returning a collection of courses, right? Come from the database query. I pull all the records, course records that matches this category I'm passing in, right? So then from here, I will just taking per course out of the collection. I will construct a list, right? Just like we did on the category, we have construct a href, right? So take the URL record, URL value, and then with a title, right? So that's enumerated. Now, if I don't have a course, then I'll say no page currently in the category. And if there is no category, then they'll say the specified category, the name does not exist. Okay, so that's this condition only happen when this link this link is invalid, right? Because the I wouldn't be able to if the slugger is not a matching, then I'm not getting the category. Okay, so that's the condition. Now let's look at what we said, right? So we said we need to do the remapping, right? And then we need to add the switch statement, uh, you know, in the URL. So that's pretty much done. So let's run this, okay? Now I already changed the Python program, so I needed to basically just let me save this, okay? So I already changed the Python program. So because of the the bug we turn it off reload. So we turn it off the reload. So I'm gonna just input. That's it. All right, so because I touched the Python and we had all the reload turn it off, so I have to rerun that every time. So now I'm gonna have to rerun. Okay, now let me go back to the page and then we'll take a look. So this is still the same, right? And then we will look at the. Let me make it small so you can see it. Just watch this portion of it, okay? Because it's gonna show the link, right? I'm gonna hop over. You see this, right? So when I hop over to the network security, the link is here, right? So if I hop over Python, it will slash Python, Django slash. If I hop over other network, it will be other networks a dash framework. Okay, so so that's what it look like, right? Okay, so now if I click this, I should go to the category page, which is list of the courses. There you go, right? And remember, we constructed this based on the URL value, which is a real URL. So if I click this, it will spawn out to the page with the course listed. Okay, right? So I can go back, look at the Python. It's the same thing. So see this, right? Right. So it's the same thing. Okay. So each of them are all linking right correctly. Now we've done this, but for some of the folks say, okay, you know what? Click this, and how do I get back? Right? If I want to get back, how do I do that? And I'll click the back button in a page. It'd be nice to have all this. So let's just add those just for the because it may not seem to be that much, but I have a reason why we want to do this. Okay, so later you will see. So we will copy this about to the category page. Okay, I want to do that. Okay, let me put a break line here, so at least right. So but on the category page, we want to have a button. Sorry, what is this? Okay, so I needed to include. Remember this? We have a static file, so I needed to because this is the static file where the image is. I forgot to include that, so I have that right. So rerun this. Okay, so now we have this footer on the page, right? But frankly, I mean, this is I want to go back to the main page, right? So we need to add is really a going home button. So this is what I will do then. So we call home, right? So when I click on it, it will actually go back to the home page, right? So I have this. Now, or reload this, right? And then we'll click this. It has a home button, so it goes back to the home, and then goes to the, and I have go. Okay, if you want to know about, it will know about. Okay, all right. So actually, this is a back to home. I think I should just copy this. Really, this is a better page anyway. So let me go do this. That's a better page, right? Wording wise. So we'll do a href back to home. So we'll do this. Okay, so let's reload back to home, right? So put a break here. Okay, so that's pretty much done in terms of how do we draw down one layer at a time to go through the entire model of the object, right? So we're going to stop the segment for now, and then we will do the segment 8, which we're going to talk about. Now we can see the records, but we won't be able to do nothing. We want to do this the same thing as the admin does, where it allows me to actually add the records and modify the records. Okay, so how do we do that, right? So that will be the video segment number 8. We're going to talk about that. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next segment.